Good morning, warriors of discipline and seekers of self-mastery. Every morning when we wake up, we face a choice to be pulled by the weight of the world or to rise with clarity and purpose. Shi Heng Yi teaches that how you speak to yourself becomes your reality. So, the most powerful conversation you will ever have is the one you have with yourself before the world gets a chance to define your day. Every single day, the first voice you hear isn't from the outside world, it's from within. That inner dialogue, the way you speak to yourself, sets the tone for your attitude, your emotions, and your actions. What you repeatedly say to yourself becomes a belief, and what you believe becomes the foundation of your reality. Shi Heng Yi teaches that the mind is like a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. If you plant negativity, fear, and doubt, you will harvest hesitation, insecurity, and self-sabotage. But if you plant focus, clarity, and confidence, you begin to grow resilience, direction, and strength. Morning self-talk is not just a motivational gimmick, it's a form of training, it's mental conditioning. Athletes train their bodies every day, warriors train their reflexes, but monks, masters, and mindful leaders like Shi Heng Yi train the mind every single morning. Why? Because before you face the world, you must first face yourself. If you don't take control of your thoughts, the world will do it for you. Social media, the news, people's opinions, all of it will flood your mind with distractions, doubts, and unimportant noise. You must become the gatekeeper of your mind. That means before the world has a chance to define your value, your path, or your potential, you do it first. When you tell yourself, I am focused, fire, I am resilient, I am in control of my thoughts, you are not lying to yourself. You are training your mind to return to its power. Even if you don't feel it at first, repetition creates belief. Belief creates behavior, and behavior creates results. Self-talk is not weak, it is strategic. Because when your inner voice becomes your ally, your outer world changes automatically. In a world that constantly chases comfort, discipline is your true superpower. It's the quiet force behind every strong individual, and Shi Heng Yi emphasizes that without discipline, mastery is impossible. Discipline is not about punishment, it's about alignment. It's the art of choosing what you want most over what you want now. Every day, you are faced with choices. Should you stay in bed or rise early? Should you feed your mind with wisdom or scroll endlessly on distractions? Should you follow through on your plans or let your feelings decide the day? The difference between the weak and the strong isn't talent, luck, or intelligence, it's discipline. The ability to act with purpose even when it's hard, boring, or uncomfortable. And here's the truth, it will be uncomfortable, but that's the point. Discipline builds mental muscle the same way physical training builds strength. When you resist the urge to quit, to complain, to procrastinate, you train your inner warrior, and over time, you start to trust yourself. That trust becomes confidence. That confidence becomes momentum. And that momentum is what changes your life. Shi Heng Yi often reminds us that the Shaolin path is not one of chaos or scattered energy, it's one of consistent effort, refined over time. Whether it's meditation, martial arts, or simply being mindful in action, the path is always paved with discipline, not intensity for one day, but steady effort every day. There will be mornings when motivation is gone. Days when you feel like you've failed, but discipline is what keeps you walking even when the spark fades. It's what makes you stronger while others remain stuck in cycles of excuses and emotional reactions. Discipline is freedom in disguise. It gives you control. It gives you peace. It gives you power. Every act of discipline is a declaration. I will not be ruled by impulse. I choose growth over comfort. Fire, I am forging my strength through repetition. Each time you follow through, even in small actions, you sharpen your will. You become less reactive and more intentional. And that over days, weeks, and months becomes unshakable inner strength. Discipline is not just about doing hard things, it's about becoming the kind of person who does what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. Shi Heng Yi teaches that strength of character is not born from occasional bursts of effort, but from daily commitment to personal mastery. The path of a monk, a martial artist, or a mindful human being is never random. It is carved by repetition, structure, and deep self-awareness. Discipline is the invisible thread that holds everything together when motivation runs out, and it will run out. Motivation is emotional, fleeting, and often dependent on your environment. But discipline is stable. Discipline is a decision. You see, every time you make a choice that honors your long-term growth instead of your short-term comfort, you reinforce who you are becoming. When you wake up early, meditate, train, read, work, or practice in silence, especially when no one is watching, you are aligning yourself with a higher level of being. Shi Heng Yi often speaks about the inner temple, a concept that reflects your internal state. Discipline is how you clean, maintain, and strengthen that temple. It's what builds your spiritual and mental foundation, brick by brick. Without it, your focus crumbles, your intentions get lost in noise. Your actions become reactive rather than intentional, and discipline isn't just about grand gestures. It lives in the small things: how you breathe when you're under pressure, how you eat and care for your body, how you show up to routines you promised yourself you'd keep. Each act of discipline, no matter how small, builds a reserve of energy and focus that becomes your strength in harder times. It's like sharpening a blade. The more precise and consistent your actions, the more prepared you are when life demands more from you. Even pain becomes part of the training. Discomfort, resistance, fatigue, these are not signs to stop. They are signals that you are entering the zone of transformation. Shi Heng Yi teaches that growth is never accidental. It is earned, and it is earned through discipline, the deliberate, conscious act of walking forward, step by step, even when your mind is screaming to turn back. Every morning you choose discipline, you are not just checking off a task. You are proving to yourself that you are capable of mastery, that you value the future version of yourself more than the temporary ease of this moment. Discipline is not a cage, it is the key to your freedom, because once you master your actions, you master your mind, and once you master your mind, no one and nothing can take your power away. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it is a lens through which you begin to see the world with clarity and purpose. Shi Heng Yi teaches that presence begins with appreciation, and to truly live in the moment, you must first acknowledge its value. Each morning when you open your eyes, you're not just waking up, you're being handed another opportunity to walk your path, refine your mind, and shape your destiny. That in itself is a gift. We often rush into the day without pausing to recognize the privilege of breath, movement, or even consciousness. But gratitude is the spiritual armor that grounds you before the demands of the world arrive. When you begin your day by saying, "I am grateful for this moment and ready for today," you are aligning your inner world with balance and peace. You are telling your body, your mind, and your spirit, "I am aware, I am present, and I will not take this life for granted." Gratitude doesn't mean everything is perfect. It means that despite imperfections, despite challenges, despite what might be lacking, you still choose to honor the moment as it is. Because every moment is alive with possibility. Every breath is a new beginning, and only by recognizing the value of now can you access its full potential. Shi Heng Yi reminds us that the path to self-mastery does not lie in chasing the future or dwelling on the past. It lies in embracing the present with full awareness. When you are grateful for the moment you're in, you bring stillness to the mind. You break free from the noise of regret and anxiety. You center yourself. This inner centering is not passive, it's active preparation. Gratitude is the doorway through which readiness enters. When you say, I am grateful and I am ready, you're not just expressing a positive thought, you're commanding your nervous system to calm, your mind to focus, and your will to engage. You become open to growth, but grounded in peace. You move with purpose, not panic. You act with clarity, not chaos. And this begins simply by waking up and choosing to appreciate the moment you're in, the silence, the breath, the stillness before the world stirs. Readiness is not a switch you flip. It is a state you enter when gratitude becomes your foundation. Because when you start your day with grateful awareness, you no longer stumble blindly into your responsibilities. You meet them with intention. Even if the road ahead is uncertain, even if the tasks are heavy, even if your body is tired or your heart carries weight, you are still alive, still breathing, still able to take a step forward. And for that, there is always something to be thankful for. Gratitude is what transforms the ordinary into sacred. And when you begin your day this way, the world doesn't control your energy, you do. Most people fear obstacles. They run from resistance, avoid pain, and see setbacks as punishments. But those who walk the path of self-mastery, like Shi Heng Yi teaches, understand something deeper. Obstacles are not in the way, they are the way. Every difficulty you face holds within it a lesson, a sharpening, a hidden gift designed to evolve you into a stronger, wiser, more resilient version of yourself. When you wake up and affirm, obstacles are my teachers, not my enemies, you are choosing to shift your entire relationship with adversity. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin to ask, what is this trying to teach me? That shift in perspective transforms suffering into strength and fear into fuel. Shi Heng Yi often speaks about resistance as part of the training. In martial arts, pressure is a tool. A punch teaches reaction. A block teaches timing. Fatigue builds endurance. The same applies to life. When challenges arise, whether it's emotional hardship, physical pain, rejection, failure, or uncertainty, they are not there to break you. They are there to awaken something dormant within you. Your potential needs friction to be revealed. You cannot become mentally unshakable without being shaken. You cannot become emotionally grounded without first losing your balance. And you cannot become spiritually awakened without first walking through the fog of difficulty. Obstacles demand that you pay attention. They force you to pause, reflect, and ask better questions. They slow you down so you can go deeper. Without them, growth would be shallow, fragile, and temporary. But through them, growth becomes rooted, lasting, and transformative. Think about it. Every great story of strength, wisdom, or transformation begins with adversity. The hero is not born through ease, the hero is forged through fire. Your obstacles are not random, they are invitations to rise. They test your commitment to your path, your discipline, and your mindset. And when you face them with curiosity instead of fear, they become your greatest teachers. Every struggle teaches patience, every failure teaches humility, every delay teaches endurance, every painful moment teaches empathy. These are not enemies, they are guides dressed in difficult clothing. So when life brings resistance, don't curse it, study it. Ask, what is this trying to develop in me? What skill, virtue, or awareness is being refined through this? Fire, am I reacting out of fear or responding with mastery? Obstacles are the training grounds of your future self. They are mirrors that show you who you are and who you are capable of becoming. When you meet them with courage and reflection, they cease to be blocks, they become stepping stones. We live in a world of noise, alerts, opinions, endless scrolling, constant distractions. The average person wakes up and immediately dives into chaos, pulled by whatever grabs their attention first. But Shi Heng Yi teaches that to live a meaningful life, you must first learn to act with intention, not impulse. Every morning, You must center yourself and decide, will I control the day, or will the day control me? Acting with intention means you don't move just because something demands your reaction. You move because something aligns with your purpose. It's the difference between being busy and being effective, between movement and mastery. A mind that is constantly reacting becomes scattered, but a mind that is intentional becomes sharp, focused, and powerful. Impulse is your lower nature. It's fast, emotional, and shallow. It's the voice that says, skip the workout, check your phone again, you can do it later. But intention is the voice of discipline. It's grounded. It's thoughtful. It asks, what is the most important use of my time, energy, and attention right now? Shi Heng Yi often reminds us that awareness is the first step to mastery, and intention is the tool that transforms awareness into action. You cannot live a disciplined, focused life without asking yourself moment by moment, why am I doing this? When you act with intention, you choose what to focus on instead of being consumed by distractions. You follow a path that leads somewhere meaningful instead of drifting through the day. You align your actions with your values, and that alignment creates peace. It's easy to react. It's easy to chase comfort, entertainment, and instant results. But that kind of life leaves you drained, fragmented, and empty. Acting on impulse makes you a slave to your environment, but acting with intention makes you the master of your mind and your time. Before every action, take a breath. Step back and ask, does this serve my purpose or sabotage it? Is this aligned with the future I am building or a distraction from it? Am I choosing this consciously, or am I being pulled by habit, fear, or laziness? This is not just mindfulness, this is mental self-defense. Intention filters what gets your energy. It protects your focus like a warrior guards the temple. It helps you build a day that adds value to your life rather than just passing time. You don't need to control everything, but you do need to control yourself. When you act with intention, you stop leaking energy into things that don't matter. You conserve your strength for what truly does. You become calm in the chaos, still in the storm, and in that stillness, you discover power most people never touch. You do not need to move fast, you need to move with meaning. Because every action, no matter how small, shapes the person you are becoming. Most people don't start their day, they simply fall into it. They wake up late, rush through the morning, check their phone before they've even taken a breath, and enter the world in a state of distraction and reactivity. But when you start your day unconsciously, you hand over your power before you've even claimed it. Shi Heng Yi teaches that the way you begin your day is how you train your mind to operate. If your first actions are scattered, reactive, or rushed, your mind becomes conditioned to remain in that scattered state throughout the day. But when you start your day consciously, when you wake up with presence, awareness, and a clear intention, your entire system aligns toward clarity, control, and calm energy. Conscious beginnings are not about doing more, they're about being more aware. It doesn't require hours of ritual. It begins with a moment of stillness, a breath, a reminder that you are not here to drift, you are here to live deliberately. Before reaching for your phone, pause. Before allowing your mind to spiral into yesterday's stress or tomorrow's uncertainty, center yourself in the now. Before letting the world dictate your pace, choose your own rhythm. To start the day consciously is to enter life with presence instead of panic. It's to recognize that your energy, attention, and awareness are your most valuable currencies, and you don't give those away lightly. You guard them, you direct them, you shape them through intentional actions, no matter how small. This might mean beginning your morning with breathwork, meditation, journaling, movement, or even a simple mental affirmation. But what matters most is the state in which you do it. You're not just checking off tasks. You are training your mind to be calm before chaos, clear before clutter, and centered before contact with the external world. Shi Heng Yi often compares the mind to water. If it is disturbed in the morning, it stays unsettled all day. But if you allow it to settle, to still, to find peace before the day begins, it reflects everything with clarity. A conscious morning is like polishing a mirror. When your awareness is sharp, everything you face during the day becomes easier to navigate because you are anchored within yourself. When you start your day consciously, you reclaim your time, your emotions, your energy. You move from victim to creator. You move from reaction to direction. You move from surviving the day to leading it with intention. It is not about perfection. It is about presence, not about control of all things, but control of the one thing that matters most, your internal state. Your morning is your foundation, and you decide whether to build it with chaos or with clarity. In the pursuit of growth, many people believe they need to do something extraordinary, intense, or impressive to make real progress. They chase motivation highs, try to overhaul their life in a single day, or dive headfirst into extreme routines. But as Shi Heng Yi teaches with clarity and simplicity, true transformation is never about intensity, it's about consistency. Intensity is seductive. It makes you feel powerful in the moment. You push hard, you go all in for a day, maybe a week, but then life gets busy, motivation fades, discipline weakens, and the intensity burns out. What you're left with is frustration, inconsistency, and a broken cycle that starts over again. Consistency, on the other hand, is quiet. It's often unglamorous, but it's relentlessly effective. It's showing up day after day, even when the excitement is gone. Even when no one is watching, even when the results haven't arrived yet. It's doing the small things well again and again and again. Shi Heng Yi compares this process to dropping water onto a stone. 1 drop does nothing, 10 drops still change nothing, but day after day, drop by drop, that water begins to carve into solid rock. The same applies to your mindset, your habits, your character. Real strength is built over time, not in bursts. This principle applies to everything. Meditation is powerful when practiced daily, not just when you're overwhelmed. Physical training is effective when it becomes a habit, not a punishment. Learning compounds when you read or reflect a little every day, not just during motivational spikes. Spiritual or emotional growth deepens when nurtured slowly, with care and repetition, not rushed in a weekend retreat. Consistency builds trust not just with others, but with yourself. When you repeatedly follow through on your word, you build inner integrity. You start to believe in your own discipline, and that belief is what carries you forward when motivation disappears. You don't need to leap. You need to take one step and then another, because every step you take in the right direction, no matter how small, adds up. Each day you show up even imperfectly, you are building the identity of a strong, focused, and self-aware person. And the beauty of consistency is this: it's sustainable, it's durable, it works when you're tired. It works when life gets hard. It works when things are uncertain, because it's not based on how you feel, it's based on who you've decided to be. Shi Heng Yi reminds us that mastery is not a sudden achievement, it is a slow unfolding. A daily sharpening of the blade, a patient return to form, a discipline of repetition. So rather than asking, how intense can I be today? Ask yourself, how consistent can I become for a lifetime? So as the sun rises and a new day unfolds, remember your greatest power lies not in what happens to you, but in what you choose to say to yourself. Your inner dialogue becomes your outer experience. Your mindset becomes your reality. Tell yourself, I am in control of my mind and my energy. I grow stronger through discipline. I am grateful for this moment and ready for today. Fire obstacles are my teachers, not my enemies. Today I act with intention, not impulse. Speak these words not once, but every day, not with pressure, but with presence. because consistency, not perfection, is the true mark of mastery. The world outside may be unpredictable, but the world within, that is yours to shape. And when you start your day with clarity, with purpose, and with deep awareness, there is nothing and no one that can take your power from you. So rise with intention, move with discipline, speak with purpose, become the architect of your life, one conscious morning at a time.